Welcome to Dorset Business Matters. This is Kas's number 6 guest on my list. So welcome, Kas.
Thank you very much.
Great to see you. So we met through Bizpedia.
Yes.
And we are actually sitting in the meeting room in Chewton, Glen Hotel and Spa.
Yes.
Had
Beautiful.
a good day.
Yeah. Very nice.
Great. Very good. So tell me a little bit about you, who you are and what it is you do.
Of course. So I'm Kas Downing. I am a chartered financial planner. So I deal with everything all the way from mortgages up to complex tax cases, business owners selling their businesses, and large inheritance tax cases.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
So a chartered financial planner.
Yes.
So different to an accountant?
Yes, very different. There are certain points that will almost cross over, which is a really nice collaboration between myself and an accountant.
Yeah.
But we deal with the personal goals and assets like pensions and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Yes, rather than the income tax, for example.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it. So we did have a conversation a few weeks back when we first met.
Yes.
Talking about the alignment between what you do and what I do as a business coach, which is all really what's your life goal, and then your business should feed your life goal.
Yes.
Which is why I think we had some synergy there in what we were talking about.
Yes.
So what does the business look like? How many people in the business?
Yeah, so there's 2 directors, myself. We have a Hampshire office and also a Bournemouth office.
Okay.
And there is probably similarly the same amount of administrators and technical power planners as there are advisory staff.
Okay.
So I would say roughly between around 10 people in the business.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And are you busy?
Yes. Yeah, so January to April, as you can imagine, before tax year,
Yes.
it's very busy, which is lovely. I love being busy.
Yeah.
So I enjoy this time of year, and there'll be many business owners as well that will be looking to basically get the benefits of any tax changes that will be made from post-April.
Of course.
So yeah, it's kind of a really charged few months.
Yeah. Excellent. Good. And so what do people typically come to you for? So the phone rings and it's Fred, and he runs a engineering business in South Down.
Yep.
What's he coming to you for?
Yes, so there'll be a variety of things. The most predominant 3, I would say, are people who are looking to accumulate pensions and so on and so forth.
Okay.
So if they've got a future financial plan, whether it be anything to do with retirement or not, but that's something that I'll bring in. Yeah. So we're looking to accumulate, but then also if they're a business owner looking to sell, and then what do they want to do with their money when they sell? I absolutely love those conversations. They're really lovely. Especially when people have very good plans, but also alternatively when they don't have plans and then they, have sold for maybe 5 million or so on and so forth, and they actually just get to enjoy planning the fun.
Isn't that interesting?
Absolutely lovely. And then finally, divorce.
Divorce is tagged on at the end there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
So what are people's goals? Do people have a clearly identified goal when they come to you, when they're selling their business, or do you see much of what we would call seller's remorse? Oh, I've sold it now and I don't know what to do, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, you do, and there is a real. It's very similar to when people retire, just generally where they're employees. And they retire and they just don't know what to do with themselves because they may have not had hobbies because they've thrown their lives into family and work.
Yeah.
And the similar process is for business owners, that they've thrown all of their life into work and building the business up. So for them to then suddenly think about me, myself and I, it's so lovely to have those conversations, to be like, well, what do you want to do? And people do think, oh, well, I can't do that, or, because you're always told to save, you're always told to do this and so on and so forth. And now you can actually say, well, yeah, you can go and enjoy it.
So you can then plan your next X number of years. And and you use a forecasting tool, don't you? I think that to forecast how much money you need to do the things you need in the time that you want to be able to do it.
Correct.
Great. So in theory, I've coached them to exit. They've sold. They come to you for you to then plan what their next X number of years looks like. What a great symbiotic relationship. I love that.
Lovely.
I love that.
I know. I love it.
And so how long have you been doing what you do?
Yes. So I went into financial planning, particularly in around 10 years ago now.
Okay.
And I have been running my own clients and so on and so forth for 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I made the jump. I wanted to learn the admin before, purely because I feel that as an advisor, I think it's really good to learn the back office systems and how it actually works. Right. So now, hopefully, I'm good for my admin, and I can, we know what each other needs, which is really nice. So it's something I really wanted to do, to understand the technicalities of the back office systems.
Yeah, because a lot of legalities involved, aren't there? So
Yeah.
FCA involved, all that kind of, okay. So it's quite tightly controlled.
Yes, we are directly authorised, so we're independent, so we are straight to the FCA, so there's no network in between us.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so we do
you have to behave yourselves.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Which is good and bad,
Yeah.
I guess, depending. Yeah. So 10 years ago, what were the early lessons that you learned working for yourself and sailing your own ship? What were the tough things that you found really difficult? I mean, some people listening to this will be looking to set up a business. Some will have done it and been through the same pain that I'm sure you're going to describe in a second.
Yeah.
So what did that look like?
The biggest thing I learnt, and this actually only happened, maybe 4 years ago now. So I worked for a business, self-employed, and they were absolutely fantastic whilst I was working for them. They were lovely, and they really taught me some very good skills as a financial planner and in general as well with business. They were lovely.
Yeah.
However, when I exited, it did not go well. It went terribly. So for anybody who's in financial planning, I would always say really, really look at your contracts. And it's something that I was quite naive to, and because I wasn't in that realm, and I just think that you really do need to have your really good support network around you. And if you don't have it and you don't know you need it, just do it anyway. Just 100% have the people around you to support you throughout the business. It was a bit of a challenge, I must admit.
Got it. So lots of lessons learned early on. And I know a lot of people when they start a business suffer from, anxiety and self-doubt and, am I worthy and can I do all of this kind of stuff? Is that familiar territory?
Yes, massively. I still get anxiety now all the time. If you chucked me into a networking room full of 50 people, for example, and said, right, Kaz, you need to go and speak to everyone, it's my worst nightmare. Right. Some people will love it. It just depends on the person. As you can see, I'm already getting anxious talking about it. It's terrible. It's just not my thing. It is not my thing at all. I prefer really close collaborations that mean something rather than just being chucked into a room. You won't get the best of me that way. However, is that people are very different, I must admit.
Yes.
And you will always get imposter syndrome. It's really hard. Our job is difficult. People are very emotive. It's all about emotion. We're talking about money, and people do have to trust you and so on and so forth. So you will get people venting on you. You will get all of the gossip, which may be good or bad, and you may not be able to have your cup already may be full, for example, and then you've still got to take that on.
Absorb it,
you do have to be quite a strong-willed person and be able to either, go to therapy and relate to somebody or be able to just let it slide.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So so getting started is hard, lessons to learn.
Yes.
That's all part of the learning process. I had a great conversation with somebody over lunch just about all of the things that you assimilate along the way that you forget about, but have turned you into the person that you are with the skill set that you've got.
Yes.
So where does marketing come into what you do?
Yes, we've got to be quite careful. We, with the FCA, you can't, quite rightly as well, I do agree with this, cold call and all those kinds of things. You're not allowed to. Our business purely comes from word of mouth, referrals and networking. So we don't necessarily advertise. It's not something we do. So it has to be coming from good connections, which is actually quite nice because they are always quite soft. Rather than anything kind of hard.
Recommendation is better, particularly if you're talking about money, as you rightly say. So similar kind of thing with accountants, to some extent, similar kind of thing with solicitors as well, people you can trust.
Yes.
And that goes back to what you talked about a minute ago, which is that kind of network of people, isn't it? That you can feel safe amongst those for advice and recommend 100%. And so on.
Yes, and also it's very good for clients when you do have the support network around you. If you may have somebody like yourself or accountants and so on and so forth, that not only for me but also for my clients, because firsthand that whoever you pass to, they're absolutely fabulous. They'll be looked after. And they'll be winning themselves. So it's actually really nice to have that good group around you for both you and your clients.
Because that's your reputation, isn't it, when you recommend somebody? So that's got to be right.
Yes.
So what are the risks that you face in business every day from the point of view? I mean, clearly, if you gave bad advice, there's a challenge there, and so on. So just give me a kind of a feel for what the risk factor looks like in the role that you play. Yeah.
So risk factor, obviously, most legislation and regulation with us is obviously really heavy on the FCA, which I think we're actually fantastic at, to be fair, not to blow our own trumpets, but WWealth are actually really good at just forward thinking and understanding what the future looks like, which is quite nice. The two directors there are absolutely fantastic at stuff like that, and we have some really good conversations. Risk factors in obviously investments go down and up. It's one of those things, markets, the economy, so on and so forth. So however much I don't like to watch the news, I do have to watch it because I do have many conversations about what goes on in the world. And, you could have a lovely financial forecast of say 20 years or so, but people will always think of the now and the present. And it's one of those things that, if the markets do go down, I've got to be there for somebody. And that is a risk to a client, but to be able to have a sounding board of somebody to talk to, just to put the worries to, for me as second time, it's nice to be there for somebody and be able to talk to them exactly what our strategy is for the future as well, because we do have our own investment fund, so we are fully involved.
Okay, so I've got a couple of £100,000 from my sale of my business.
Yep.
I want to invest in cryptocurrency. Are you my girl?
No.
That was a slightly cynical comment.
Definitely not.
What's the safest place to put your hard-earned cash if you've sold for 2, 3, 4, 5 million? Is it a spread across different markets? Is that your advice usually, or is it is the one particular area which is?
No, to diversify is the best thing, and there'll be different investment vehicles, there'll be different investment funds, and so on and so forth. But the main crux of the conversation will be, well, what do you want? If somebody comes to me and says, well, I've got £200,000, for example, and saying, well, I'm going to buy a house in 2 years' time. Or 1 year's time, I will be saying, let's not invest. It's not the right thing to do because you've earmarked it for something else.
Okay.
Now, if I did that and there was a huge, World War III, for example, and the markets completely crashed across the board, that person then would obviously be very unhappy with me for investing and so on and so forth. So it actually depends on the person, what they want to do with it, and whether you invest it all. Because if somebody wants to live on, I don't know, £50,000 a year, you obviously wouldn't invest the full 200 and so on and so forth.
Sure.
It is a really holistic approach rather than just plonking it somewhere. It's kind of how we work. We want to make sure that your whole life is in a kind of a whole goal rather than just looking at one area. And I think you're right. It isn't about now, is it? It's about what I want at some point in the future, and can the funds that I've got feed that? And if they can't, what do I do to fill the gap? Exactly. Yeah.
Very good.
Yes.
So you're 18. You've just finished school.
Yes.
And you decide you want to go into work. What did you want to do?
What did I want to do?
Yeah.
I wanted to do two things. Both failed.
Well, you didn't do either of them.
I know. So I really wanted to be a dancer.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did my BTEC dance at college, and then decided it wasn't for me. Yeah, one of those things. I'm kind of glad I didn't go into it. I really wanted to do. You basically write how the choreography goes, like you write it down. Now I would have been out of a job because of AI, so one of those. So I'm glad I didn't go down that route.
Fair point.
And then we used to basically race in British superbikes, and me and my family, so my dad predominantly ran race teams.
Oh, really?
And I was so heavily involved when I was 18 at that point. And I actually had to choose in 2014-15 whether to continue racing or work.
So you were racing?
No, we ran the race.
Do you ride a bike?
Yeah, I can. I don't.
Not today because it's pouring with rain.
No, definitely not. No, but no, I do have a road license.
Right.
But my husband and I have been thinking about it. Yeah.
Ran a race teams. That's really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, and British Superbikes. It was absolutely fantastic, and I met some amazing people along the way who are still really good friends of mine. But I was so involved. That's kind of all I was thinking about.
Yeah.
So I would have just, at that time when I was 18, I would have said just continue it along that path.
And so what dragged you into financial planning?
So I used to work for Scandia, Old Beach Wealth, all those things. And I worked for the European business in Paris and Luxembourg.
Okay.
I absolutely loved it. I spent a week in Paris, a week in Lux, and then a week in Southampton.
No, how awful.
Yeah, I know. It was amazing. It was so good. I got to eat all the food.
Sample all the great wines.
Yes, yeah.
Good hotels.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, awful.
Yeah, I know. And then they sold the European business at the time. So this was going on to early 20s. And they said, oh, do you want to join the Southampton team? And I said, I don't really know whether I like accountancy. I feel like I've just enjoyed the travelling. So, yeah, they basically said, do you want to go into financial advice? Because obviously they knew that I just said to them, I just don't want to be in Excel. I'd love to speak to people.
Yeah.
And that was it. I did all my exams whilst I was just sat there doing nothing for 9 months.
Wow.
And I had a job at another place and went straight into administration and financial planning. And then for those 2 years I did that. And then
Very good.
And then went straight for it and went self-employed, and I've been doing it ever since.
Superbikes to financial planning.
I know.
Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting?
What a choice.
I was having a great conversation with somebody the other day about, you decide you want to go to university, for example, and you pick a course and you take that course, and then you come out of work, and then AI's appeared, and actually your history degree is not worth anything because you don't want to do that anymore. What do you do?
Yeah.
That's quite an interesting example of superbikes to financial planning, isn't it? Not necessarily planned in any way, shape or form.
Not at all.
So I think there is a lot, isn't there, in I've identified this is what I want to be able to do. What do I need to do to be able to get there?
Yes.
And to some extent, that's what you're doing now with your financial planning. But what about for you, Kas? So where you are, what does life look like in 10, 20 years' time?
Yeah.
Are you still in financial planning?
Yes.
Are you not back in Paris or Luxembourg or riding a superbike around Europe? Or
I think they'd have something to say about that. Oh dear. Where would I be? I would love to still be doing my job. I absolutely love it. I really enjoy meeting new people, and not that maybe I am nosy. Yeah. I just love to learn about people. Yeah.
Curious is a better
that's
word.
a nice word. I just love to know where people have come from, what they've done, all the way up through to what they want to do. I just find it so interesting, and everyone is so different. All my clients, none of them are the same at all. And I find it fascinating. Maybe it's the psychology of people.
Yeah, could
I
be.
absolutely love it. I do find it really interesting. So I would still like to be in financial planning. I still want to be running the business and enjoying it. And
Great.
thinking about my retirement, I think, at that point.
Love what you do, and you'll never work a day in your life, right? I think is what they say. So finding that niche is really hard. Many people never do.
No.
And a lot of business owners, struggle with that. Again, certainly in the early years. I decided to run my own business because I want to be my own boss. My last one was terrible, and I'm a worse boss than he was, or she was. Because you work all the hours and don't see your kids and, blah, blah, all of that stuff. We see that all the time, right?
Yes. Serious boundaries have to be put in place.
Serious boundaries.
Yeah, that's one lesson learned. I used to be that person who used to say yes to everything, work all hours of the day, and then just went through burnout. I was absolutely exhausted. And just putting the boundaries in place and just saying no a little bit more, which is I still find difficult. I'm a yes person. Anybody watching this, don't try to make me say yes.
So again, if we go back to the start again, so the things that you've learned since then, boundaries being one.
Massively.
If you're going to give advice to somebody else that was starting a business today, other than boundaries, what else would you tell them to do?
Yeah, don't go against your core strategy of the business. So when you're working with people, it's very easy to say yes to them and very easy to bend your rules of the business because you think that it's the right thing to do to get that business on board. I have learned to not do that, and I'm very strong about if you don't meet my criteria or all these types of things of, if somebody is trying to, I don't want to say boss around, it's probably not the right word, but, if they're almost dominating you rather than you giving the advice. Okay. Immediately it would make me want to turn around now. Whereas before, years ago when I was younger and learning, you'd obviously just say yes because you want, So there's a really big learning curve. And even though people told me that when I was younger, I don't know whether they were forceful enough telling it me. It was like a bit of a nice story. Whereas now I wish somebody said, do not go against your rules, because it's just funny that you do say yes and then people walk all over you, and it's so easy to do. That's a huge rule for me now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Massive rule.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
Don't let the client walk all over you.
Yeah.
Paraphrasing, I guess.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yes. Oh, anything else? Big learning curves. Obviously, read your contracts.
Read your contracts. Yes, very, very important. Yes. Yes.
And I don't know how to say this quite right, but know who you're getting into bed with.
Okay.
I just think sometimes it's so easy to say yes to somebody because you think it's a fantastic opportunity, which it may be, but it may be a particular family member, or it might be, somebody quite close to you, where in fact, if something did go wrong, it actually could cause many consequences, not just business-wise, but personally. So just really learning if you're compatible with the people that you're going to collaborate with, and you're able to be honest, and if something isn't working right, that you're able to sit down like this and say, right, this isn't working for me, how can we sort it? And be honest and open rather than ended up having huge arguments. I think that's a massive
Good point. Yes, it is a regular conversation that I have with people who've fallen out with their business partner.
Yeah.
And then the question is why probably their values weren't the same when you got started, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, because people do change, and
they do.
that is okay. But being able to sit down and speak to each other comfortably and calmly.
Honesty, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a big thread that needs to run through most businesses.
Yeah.
We're never truly honest because we don't want to upset anybody.
Quite.
Or we're the opposite and we're too honest and upset
Yes.
people, and then you get the breakup and probably no makeup afterwards, which is not great.
No.
Great. So that's really good advice for people starting.
Yes.
And so you get to a certain point where you know what you're doing and you're feeling comfortable in your own skin, and life becomes work becomes a little easier, and you love what you do.
Yes.
Can you consolidate that? Is the plan to grow the firm, or, as I said earlier on, go and work in Paris or somewhere else? Does the change particularly all the changes we're seeing in taxation and everything these days with the current government pushing taxation as hard as it is,
Yes.
does that change the rules of what you do on a regular basis? I mean, you need to know what's coming up for April, presumably.
Yes, we always have to.
Pensions and other things.
Yes. So we do always have to be really wary of what the government are suggesting in these budgets and any legislation that may change. We, as an advisor, if somebody came to me today about inheritance tax, for example, let's use that because obviously we know that pensions in April 2027 are going to be coming inside of the estate.
Yeah.
Right now, if somebody was to advise us, we almost have to do a current position and a potential April 2027.
Yes.
Because there's two scenarios that kind of may happen on the worst case point, is that the client might pass away before then, and then the whole changes, the legislation changes don't matter anyway, or it doesn't actually happen. So they're the kind of two easier points, and then we have to think about if it does happen, the impact and so on and so forth. But we almost have to be ahead of the game of exactly what we need to be doing for the client, and is there any really clever ways that we can mitigate this tax, obviously legally, but in the right way to make sure that there's a better outcome for the person. So we do have to be very on the ball and very aware of any changes that they do make.
Yes. Tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Potential plan for what might happen if the legislation happens, and then they do a U-turn.
Yep. Yeah, that's fantastic.
And then you can undo all of that. Well, you don't need to because it was a potential, right?
Potential.
So,
so you can do planning for the future. Like, people can have many plans, and this will happen regardless of regulatory changes and so on and so forth and legislation. It could be that somebody actually has 3 different plans because they don't know what they want.
No, of course.
And that is okay. It's absolutely fine that somebody might not know what they want in the future, and they could want plan A, B or C. And then as they get towards it, think life happens, and every single year we speak to our clients. It's lovely, and you'll know which route they're kind of going down the closer they're getting to it. Yeah.
So pensions is an interesting one, isn't it? So again, as a small business, when you get started, the last thing on your mind is a pension. And then 10 years later, you're really busy with your business, and your last thing on your mind is a pension. How many people arrive at your doorstep having got to the point where they're selling their business and they've got no pension?
Many, many, many. I recently had a client who sold his business for 6 million, and I was looking through their accounts and so on and so forth just for the last few years just to see what they could have done. At this point, they had already exited.
Right.
So there was no, you basically couldn't contribute because they weren't part of the business. They had gone.
Yeah.
Had they spoken to me 6 months before or even a year before, they could have maximised their contributions and so on and so forth.
For the previous 2 years, I think.
So they could have done something about it. Sometimes it's too late. So it is really important, however much you may think, oh, I might not get, a lot of people come to me and say, oh, I might not get to pension age, which is absolutely crazy when they then turn.
It's a bit of a negative thought, isn't it?
I know. And then they turn up when they're 60 and so on and so forth, and they've reached that age.
And lo and behold, no pension.
I know. Yeah. So that does happen.
So would you advise somebody at the beginning to think about it?
100%.
I mean, even if you put £10 a month into your pension to begin with, something.
Yes, 100%.
And then don't stop.
It's getting people, even if you're like 18 and you're talking about brand new, young person starting up, so on and so forth, even if they're employed, take note of it and use it. You definitely use it. £10 a month at 18 all the way through. They can increase that by however much they want throughout their life, but they've always seen it as it's never been a problem, so it's always come out
always
of
automatic.
So it doesn't ever feel like a negative in their life because it's always something they've done. It's that habit. It's the habit of doing something. So 100% my advice would be to just start whenever you can, whether it be pensions or other investments, both. It's fantastic. Do it, 100%.
Very good.
Yeah.
So regrets? You started a business 10 years ago. Would you do it all over again if you could?
Yes. Yes, I would. Yeah. There are many regrets. However, they are almost not regrets because they've taught me what I know now.
Okay.
And I am able to speak to other business owners or financial planners, whatever it may be, and say, well, this is what happened to me, don't do it.
Yeah.
Which is nice, which I wouldn't have been able to do if I hadn't been through it.
Very good point.
Yeah.
Very good point. Making mistakes is a method of learning.
Yes. Yes. Which,
Good. We can agree on that.
yeah. Weren't very nice at the time, fantastic now.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yes, well, and of course, people pay for your experience, don't they?
Yeah.
And your experience comes from life experience and making mistakes along the way. So
Exactly.
always really interesting.
Yes.
Kaz, that's been a pleasure.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate you taking the time to have a chat.
No worries. Thank you too.
Thanks for appearing on Dorset Business Matters.
Thank you.
We're planning on running this for at least the next 25 years.
Amazing.
Lots of business to get through, so you're one of the early adopters, and I appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Kaz.